Of the many mysteries rummaging around in Tivat, one mystery in particular seems to have a rather tight hold on the masses, that being the potential missing 10th ranked Fatui Harbinger. Due to the fact that no one currently holds that rank, lots of people have begun speculating about who that Harbinger could be, with the only person named being either Crepus or some unknown person who's yet to be revealed. And while I'll talk about those possibilities later, I did just want to float the idea that it could simply be there's no 10th ranked Fatui Harbinger. The reason I say this is a possibility is due to what happened when Scaramouche erased himself from history. What happened, you ask? Nothing. And that's the problem, because think about it. Scaramouche was the 6th ranked Fatui Harbinger for hundreds of years, and following his removal from Irminsul, the 6th ranked position also became vacant for hundreds of years, according to the Fatui in Mondstadt. Now, obviously, Child became the 11th ranked Harbinger after Scaramouche became the 6th ranked Harbinger, but think about it. In this new timeline, shouldn't everyone have moved up a spot as opposed to staying where they were? So for instance, instead of the current rankings, why wouldn't Sandrone be named to the 6th spot, Senora 7, Pantalone 8, and Child either 9th or 10th? Instead, everyone still has their current positions, despite the fact that Scaramouche messed with the timeline, which means either one of two things. The Harbinger ranking system is okay with gaps in the numbers, or someone we don't know about yet was the 6th ranked Harbinger before Scaramouche, which would be interesting, and it really would not have been a very long stint given Scaramouche was again a Harbinger for hundreds of years, and the entire Fatui organization has only existed for at least like 500 years. I suppose someone being the 6th ranked Harbinger before Scaramouche wouldn't be like the most insane thing though, given Arlecchino was the 4th ranked Harbinger before Arlecchino defeated Arlecchino, and in turn Arlecchino stole Arlecchino's. If they're both named Arlecchino and they were both the 4th ranked Fatui Harbinger, that's so fucked up, man. Whatever. Although I will say, if there was truly no one ever in the 10th ranked spot, how wrong is that for Child, man? They made him number 11 despite no one until he was probably sitting there like, guys, why can't I be the 10th ranked Harbinger? No, nigga, no, you're 11. I'll fight you for it, bro. Will you shut the fuck up? You're the 11th ranked Fatui Harbinger. Anyway, because things happening without a cause is a horrifying thought, people have begun speculating about who the 10th ranked Harbinger could be, with Crepus Ragna, the only name ever being brought up. For those unaware, diluc had a father named Crepus, who, like his son, was the head of the Dawn Winery. However, he once dreamed of being a member of the Knights of Favonius. He fails, but later ambiguously stated, quote, "The gods had other plans for me." He never elaborates on this ever again, so I mean, big ups to him. One day while riding in the back of a carriage, Crepus reveals he had a delusion and planned on gifting it to diluc. However, diluc would receive a vision, so he kinda gave up on giving him the delusion. This fruity dragon known as Ursa the Drake would then attack the carriage and be taken down by Crepus, who used the delusion, but it proved too much in the end, and Crepus died as a result. So this is all we know about Crepus, and off-rip, I will say, him being a Harbinger would explain how he came to possess a delusion, and why he said the gods had other plans for him. If the Tsaritsa made him a Harbinger and granted him a delusion, then this would fit perfectly. Furthermore, the reason he may not come across as, flamboyant as the other Harbingers could be because he was playing a role more akin to a spy. As we all know at this point, the Harbingers draw inspiration from the Commedia dell'arte, and one of the missing character types is that of Brighella, who funnily enough is described as having a goatee, which Crepus has. Furthermore, Brighella is known as a mischievous character who often lies and manipulates others. These characteristics are perfect for someone conducting clandestine operations. If Crepus was a Harbinger, he could have been a spy who cannot go around stating he's a Fatui Harbinger. Spies must blend in and look normal, which would help to explain his rather, average looking self. I mean, average isn't the right word, but you get what I mean. So this pretty much sums up the whole Crepus is the 10th Harbinger thing, and I do have some problems with it. With him being a spy, why couldn't he just do what Dottore did? Just blend in and become someone, I don't know, whatever the fuck black magic Dottore used to turn himself into someone else. Why couldn't he just do that? Furthermore, Harbingers aren't the only people who get a delusion. Other Fatui members like agents and mages have their own delusions despite not being Harbingers. And well, Victor once told us that delusions are granted in person by the Tsaritsa herself. This obviously cannot be true. Hey, shout out Tepe, man. Shout out Tepe. Ain't no way. This stupid son of a bitch was taken from us far too late. Also, even if he was essentially just a clandestine officer as a Harbinger, why was he so, weak? I get it, not all harbingers are fighters. I mean, hell, Pantalone doesn't even have a vision, and I mean, I could throw hands with this little fucking ugly-ass hobbit, but Crepus got one-tapped by his delusion. Child and Signora don't even look mildly affected when they use theirs, so even if a delusion is that powerful that it would kill Crepus upon using it, why even give it to him? You're telling me when the Tsaritsa handed him his vision personally, she just looked at him and said, look, yeah, you're not strong, you're weak, bro, stand down. You got one use of this shit, you better make this shit count. Or was this just an accumulation of uses and this final one was just the one that broke the camel's back? It's impossible to say given we know so little. Another problem I have is when speaking of the connection between Crepus and his Commedia dell'arte counterparts, one thing I have to bring up is that other harbingers' connections with their counterpart is, sketchy, to say the least. For instance, people like Dottore and Capitano are complete opposites of how they're supposed to be. In the Commedia dell'arte, while Dottore is a doctor, the joke is he's actually an idiot, an imbecile, a fool, if you will. He's a dumb doctor who does dumb things because he's a fool. This is a far cry from our Dottore, who's actually very smart, just very, morally reprehensible. Capitano's even worse. In the Commedia dell'arte, Capitano has a reputation of being a brilliant military general and has won many battles. He's strong, just like our Capitano, but in actuality, he is a coward and a liar. Now, with that said, the Capitano mains better get on their hands and knees and pray, because some harbingers are extremely similar to their counterpart. Pantalone is extremely rich in both and sought after wealth. Arlecchino is often associated with deception in both. She's called the Harlequin over there. So until we learn what Crepus's harbinger name may have been, it's impossible to say which side he falls on. One last point I wanted to bring up is, if Crepus was a harbinger, why wasn't this information relayed to diluc? Following Crepus's death, diluc went on a rampage of sorts, taking out lots of Fatui bases before he caught the attention of a harbinger. His character story writes, quote, "The Fatui's rulers, the harbingers, monitored diluc's progress from the shadows. The prowess with which he had laid waste to numerous Fatui strongholds caught their attention and forced them to take action. Diluc narrowly escaped death at the hands of the harbingers thanks to a third-party observer from the north who was a part of a vast underground intelligence network. The observer claimed to have been watching Diluc for some time and approved of his methods." Crepus looks exactly like Diluc. You're telling me the unnamed harbinger said nothing to him? Not even a sly little "your father was a good man," or even just like a little anime like, "You're Crepus's boy, aren't you?" I don't know, man. Feels sus. Feels real sus. So this pretty much sums up the most popular 10th ranked Fatui Harbinger theories. I personally, in case anyone was wondering, don't think it was Crepus, but I mean, I won't rule out that someone is currently the 10th ranked Fatui Harbingers, or that it's just no one. I'm leaning towards no one, but I'm dumb as fuck, so don't even worry if you wanted validation of Crepus being the harbinger. Ultimately, I feel like Arlecchino's voice lines are going to tell us way more than anything we've received so far, so until then, I lurk in the shadows.